welcome to Ignite Your Destiny. I am Jamie Marie, host of the show, and we are boldly fulfilling you to take steps towards your purpose and your destiny. I am so excited to have Taria Pritchett with us tonight. Hello, Taria.
Oh, hey, Jamie. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited too.
And I can't wait to get into it. So tell us about you.
I will. That's a good question. So as Jamie said, my name is Taria Pritchett, and I am a confidence coach for women. So I absolutely love helping women really uncover and go deeper within themselves. And I love helping them heal, evolve, and grow so that they can go to the next level in their life and also in their love life as well.
Love it. I love now I'm doing your dance.
Sorry, I do it all the time.
That was just awesome. And so share with us and the ladies how you got in line with your purpose and just how you came to that point.
So another excellent question. So a couple years ago, I was in a relationship, of course, love. And my boyfriend called me in one day and he told me he had to tell me something. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But he took me to his home, but then his parents were there. So I knew it was something very serious. And that's when he revealed to me that he had fathered a child by somebody else. And that really broke my heart. Jamie is like, wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, so that was like, whoa. And I had to stop and ask myself, how did I end up in this particular situation? Because I'm pretty fierce, I'm pretty smart, I'm pretty powerful. And I thought I was confident at the time. And I was definitely walking in purpose because I was at the time studying to become a teacher, which I also am in addition to being a confidence coach. So I just could not understand how a woman that's so destined to be amazing ended up with a guy that's so not destined to be amazing. So it just blew my mind. And that's when I started my journey to really understanding what it really means to be a confident woman, right? Because I'm like, obviously I'm not in the right mind frame. So, but the very next day after he told me all of this, I went to a conference and Angela Bassett was there, right? So she's a very famous actress. She's in the Black Panther movie that's coming out soon. She's in What's Love Got to Do with It. She's in a bunch of stuff. But anyway, her husband was doing a little speech at this event I went to, and they had wrote a book called like Friends, a Love Story. And the way he talked about her was like amazing. And I was like, oh, okay, clearly I'm definitely doing a lot wrong because he's up there. He's like, oh my God, Angela's amazing. Not only is she an actress, she's a wife, she's a mom, blah, blah, blah. And she wasn't even there.
Wow.
He just, I don't know. He was obviously in love and he still is. But I was like, wow, like I obviously need to get on her level. So again, that's when I started the journey. So I guess a negative and a positive kind of meshed together. And I'm like, I have to figure out how I can really be this woman that's destined for greatness. Because I don't just want to be in purpose, but I also want to be fierce on the inside, but I also want to have my love life in order. So that's what kind of initiated my journey. And then over time, obviously it evolved into me helping other women because I started blogging because I'm like, okay, I'm learning all this stuff. I need to now share it with other women out there. I can't just keep all of this information. And from the blog, it then turned into coaching services and it's kind of taken off from there.
I love it. And I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing that because I know that's a very vulnerable story, and probably was a very difficult time, and it could have easily taken you out of your purpose. And so I love how you really dug in deep. Was there ever a time that you felt like just saying, never mind, I'm done?
In terms of what, my purpose?
Yeah, just like, with that time being so difficult and so heavy.
So I actually think that being in my purpose actually helped me come through it, if that makes sense.
Yes,
for a long period of time, I definitely felt ashamed about it. So I would never even share it. So, and obviously that was years ago and I've done the work on myself to heal, evolve, and grow. So that's why I'm able to teach my clients how to do the same thing. But I think if anything, it kind of helped me walk in my purpose stronger. And it also made me put more focus in that area because that would be me focusing more on myself versus, I guess, focusing so much on a relationship to bring in my happiness, right? Or to ignite something for me that I needed to first ignite for myself, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, and it's beautiful. And I'm like that too. Like in pain, I usually something very big and fruitful comes forth. So, I really identify with that personally as well. So how does walking in your purpose, how does that really align you to ignite your destiny, or maybe even, share with about a client or yourself?
Yes. So when a woman knows why she is here, well, first of all, I always tell my clients, and I also share this in my book, Born Fierce, that as a woman, there are certain questions you just absolutely have to know, or else you're going to struggle. And the first one is, who am I? The second is, why am I here, right? And a lot of women oftentimes jump to, who am I here to share this life with? And they want to jump to, the relationship part, but they don't want to focus on, who am I? My bad, I forgot my second question, which is, whose am I, right? And that would be whatever higher power that you're connected to. And then third would be, why am I here? And then fourth would be, who am I here to share this life with, right? But a lot of times, like I said, we jump to the end because we don't want to get quiet and reflect and see, or even think that we might be doing something wrong, or we just don't.
Right.
It's not always the easiest, most fun part of everything. But once you're able to start answering those questions, especially why are you here, I would say when I get on the phone and I do discovery sessions, so like, free 20-30 minute sessions, I will say probably, I guess it's almost like a number one, maybe number two, women ask me, what is my purpose? How do I discover my purpose, right? And as a result of that, they feel so lost and they feel so confused. And as a result, their confidence it goes down a little bit because they don't know. They feel like they're not sure. But I always tell all of my clients, there are so many amazing, wonderful things you can do, right? I think a lot of people overlook a lot of the skills that they have because they don't think it will make money, or they think, oh, it's just a passion, or, oh, I shouldn't do it because it might not make me as much money. But if it's what you're passionate about, it's what you can do well, then 9 times out of 10, we need to stop sleeping on our skills and we need to step up and we need to move into it. And the more you step into confidence, the more you step into purpose, the more your confidence is going to rise up. But I think a lot of women have to actually do the work necessary to discover that purpose, to step in it, and then to live in it and be bold with it and to be fierce with it.
I love it. And I love your passion behind it. I just love it's so energizing. So I love that. So what do you think most people, most women, how do they get stopped from fulfilling their purpose and walking in that? What do you see?
So what I see is this. It's the mindset. It's the unworthiness, right? That's also number one thing I see when I work with women. We don't feel like we're worthy of it. We don't feel like we deserve success. A lot of us, especially as women, we don't think that we deserve to be a millionaire or a billionaire or to make this money, right? Today at school, I was doing a little discussion group, and I think a girl came out and said something like, like most millionaires are not happy, or like most millionaires are bad people, right? So it's like our negative beliefs, and people like kind of jumped on that person. But these are teenagers, right? But guess what? As my mom always says, little people become big people, right? So what we learn in our households about money, about purpose, and even about relationships, right? Those kind of things, they stay with us and they stick with us. That's why it's important to work with somebody like a confidence coach, because they can help you unravel all of that stuff that you don't even realize you got all these bags you're carrying everywhere you go. Yeah. And then that gets into, okay, I don't feel like I'm ready to do a video or to go live in my business, or, I don't feel like I'm qualified to be a coach, or, I'm just a mom. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, that in and of itself means you have a book inside of you, right? So I know I tell my mom that all the time. When are you going to write your book? Because she's real into parenting and all this kind of stuff. But I'm like, well, when are you going to share that knowledge in a way that people can actually take it in? But again, I think a lot of times we get stuck because we just don't think that we're good enough. We don't think that we're worthy enough of actually putting our gifts out into the world.
Yes. Yeah. And I've said it, before, that I feel that really, as women, we feel like we have this certain place that we have to be in our roles and in our lives, and society's done that to us, you know.
Yes.
And so it's such a, like you said, it's a mindset shift,
Mm-hmm.
because we can do those things and we do deserve to do those things. And,
Mm-hmm.
just like you're saying, we can boldly step into that and move in it. But that mindset is so pertinent to be changed. We have to change that. So, and what would you, I mean, do you agree with that, or what would
I
you share
do.
with the ladies?
Yes, I totally agree. I taught a webinar 2 years ago that's called Own Your Worth. And I talk all about how, like, our society norms, especially as a girl, like when you're born, right? What's the color we go to? We all go to pink, right? We know it's a little girl. And then as you get older, it's like, okay, now you got to go to college. Okay. And what are we taught? Books before boys. But then when you go to college, they're like, oh, that's where you need to find your husband. Then when you graduate from college, it's like, oh, you got to get married. Then if you're not married by 30, oh my God, you don't have a baby by 30, oh my God, right? So it's the societal constraints that are constantly on us, right? And we want to fulfill it. But when we're sick and tired of waiting, sometimes we get desperate, or sometimes we start to settle. And that can even be down to our purpose, right? We start to get very comfortable in our jobs, but then deep down inside, we're like, I know I'm made for more. I know there's more I can be doing, right? But because of how life operates, you're like, oh, well, I became a mom at 20, so I can't step out now. Or, oh, I'm in my daily grind, so I can't do X, Y, and Z and step out of that comfort zone, right? But if you really want to ignite that destiny, at what point are you going to step up? And you're going to
Oh,
show out. You're going to be
yes.
bold, right? Like, you have to make that decision that, okay, I'm going to do something different. Because when you heal, you evolve, you grow, you step into that purpose. It's not just about you. It's about all of the people in your family that are coming after you. It's about that legacy that you're building for your children, right? You want them to see a very bold and fierce example of what it means to walk in that purpose, what it means to ignite their destiny. Because there are so many people who never, ever step into it.
Yes, yes, and that makes me so sad,
I know.
because uh, we have so much power inside of us, and even if we are just a mom, there's still a sole purpose for that as well. And I know so many
Yes, I
think
agree with
that,
that.
and I know you agree.
Mhm.
So what would you say to that woman that is just stuck, and she's looking in the mirror, and she doesn't even know who she is anymore, and just crying,
Mhm.
about her stuck, being stuck.
Yes. So when you are stuck, then yes, I absolutely agree with you. So when you are stuck, the first thing I always, 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 always recommend is to get you a journal. And I know this is going to sound simple, but I promise you it will change your entire life. And you might agree with this. I don't
Yeah.
know if a journal. But getting to the root of, why am I stuck? Why do I feel like this? And better yet, going back to, when do I first remember this happening, right? Because you can't change the fruit if you don't change the root of something. So you have to go back to, where did this first start, where I felt like I wasn't good enough, where I felt ashamed of myself because, maybe now I'm a single mom, right? Go back to that moment, right? What did that feel like to be put in that position or in that space, and start to unpack it? Why do I feel that way? Right. And more importantly, stop asking yourself, why is this happening to me? And instead, you want to flip the script and say, well, what am I supposed to learn from this? How does that connect to purpose? Right. Because pain is connected to purpose. Passion is connected to purpose. So your destiny, and I believe, and everybody doesn't believe this, my students and I were debating this earlier, but I believe we were, because it's a part of our Shakespeare that we're about to do. But I believe that we all have a destiny, and I'm assuming you agree, but I don't know.
Yes.
Like, there's a destiny that's set out. So everything that's happening, negative and positive, is putting us on this path that's ultimately connected to purpose and why we are here, right? So that's why I ask those questions earlier. Who am I? Whose am I? Why am I here? And then who am I here to share that with? Right. So, and obviously they come in various stages, but you can begin to do that work. So, and I call it, that's that inner healing work that
Mhm.
we have to do. So anytime you get triggered and there's something negative that comes up, you should be pulling that journal out, right? That's something that's something I walk my clients through step by step. Stop holding it. Stop walking around and carrying it and holding on to it, right? You don't need to carry it. It doesn't need to live all up in here.
Yes.
Release it, let it go, so that you can open yourself up to receive what's going to come next for you.
Yes, I believe it 100%.
Awesome.
I fully believe that all of our lives, all of our experience, all of our hurt, all of our joy, all leads into that purpose, and really when we can see that bigger picture, and I believe, and I know you do, having a coach or somebody on the outside that can help you see
Yes,
that
let me
bigger
raise my hand for that.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, is I don't even know the word for it. I mean, like, you can't trade it. It's invaluable.
Yeah.
Having somebody that can see that and go, but do you see what's happening here?
Yes.
Yes, I definitely completely agree with that. And I know that so many people, feel like, oh, well, maybe my purpose isn't big enough, or maybe it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh, that's not it. What do you say to them?
That's an excellent question. So, and I was teaching my clients this a couple of months ago, that everybody's purpose is up on a stage or whatever the case may be. That's not everybody's purpose. Now they make it look good and they do it well, but we're not all Katy Perry. I'm sorry, we're just not, right? But what you do every single
So what would you say to the women that maybe feel like their purpose isn't big enough, or, that it's just not the right thing?
Excellent question. So I know a lot of women think that they have to be Katy Perry or Jennifer Aniston. They have to be Beyonce. They have to be Oprah or even Michelle Obama. Obviously, that might not be for you. I'm just going to be honest, but I think a lot of us don't realize that our own personal skills and talents that we have, that it matters, right? Maybe you don't want to be the garbage man down the street, but we need somebody to do that job. Or even, the secretaries at school. There was a movie on Lifetime the other day about the secretary in America who saved her whole school, I think, from a school shooting, just from kind of talking him out of it in that office. That's not a big stage. But the people who are secretaries at schools, they do a lot of work that most people don't even realize that they do. But that job matters, but it's not a big, huge platform, right? And we're also not here to do everything for a big reward and for everybody to see it, right? It's really you walking in integrity and doing what you feel as though, your higher power has called you to do, because that is ultimately why you are here, right? Because nobody else on the planet can claim the day you were born, the time you were born, to the parents you were born to, at the same hospital, or maybe you was wherever you were born at. No, even if somebody is a twin, they have different DNA, right? They are not the same person. So we all have a certain, destiny or calling. Your job is to figure out what that is, no matter how big it is or how small it is. You're here to make an impact. So figure out what that is so that you can ignite your destiny.
I love it. And I completely agree, because nobody has your voice. Nobody has your skills, just like what you're saying. And that's so true.
Absolutely.
So true. So share with the ladies what your 5 C's of unleashing your purpose confidently.
Oh, I like that. So yes. Excellent. So the first C is curiosity. So for any ladies that feel like, I really don't know what my purpose is. And again, I believe that every woman deep down, there's been little hints and clues that have been popping up your entire life. When I was 5, I was lining up my Beanie Babies. And my mom noticed that I was teaching them, you need to sit down, you need to be quiet. So she got me a chalkboard, and that changed my entire life. So by the time I hit 7th grade, guess what? I was a weirdo. I was a nerd. I love books and I love reading. So I said, Mom, guess what? I want a book club at my home. So I handed out little applications. I ordered books off of Amazon. I know. And guess what? I had my friends over at my house. Their homework was to read once a month. And guess what I did? I created all of these activities about how to be what? An empowered woman. Keep in mind, I'm in the 7th grade. What do I do now? I teach books and I empower women on the side, right? So there are just little pieces to the puzzle that are always there. Now, granted, I was fortunate because my mom really cultivated that, which is my second C. So the first one is curiosity, which means you need to explore a bunch of different things. If you're unsure of which one it is that you need to go in, then maybe you need to start volunteer over here at the nursing home, but then maybe you also need to start doing X, Y, and Z over here. See if you like it. Volunteer one day at the nursing home. I bet you'll be like, okay, either you're down for it or you're not. Right? You know, so that exploration is key. The second, so that's curiosity. So be curious, and also reflecting back on when I was a little girl, what did I like? What was I into? Even as a little girl, I also used to say I was going to be a hairdresser. And my mom sent me to little hairdresser camp for 1 week. And guess what? At the end, I said, I'm never doing this ever again. I hate standing up all day, right? And the reason, that's where I got this whole idea of curiosity and exploration, because my mom was really, really big on that, right? So again, I was fortunate because I got to do that earlier in life. But guess what? You can do it now and you can pass that on to your children as well. So curiosity. The second thing is cultivation, right? And that simply means once you figure out what it is that you really like, you're really into, then it's you cultivating that skill, right? You only get better and better by doing something, right? So you might have heard of the author Malcolm Gladwell of The Outliers. So according to his book, in order to be an expert at something, you have to put in 10,000 hours of something, right? But the crazy part is so many of us have so many hours doing stuff. We just haven't sat down and wrote it out. Mm-hmm. All the degrees we have, all the certifications, all those professional developments, all those coaching programs that you've done, all the books that you've read, sit down and start writing that out and calculate the hours attached to it. You're going to realize that you're an expert at a whole bunch of stuff, both personally and professionally. Some of us are champions at washing and folding clothes. We do it every week. I know that sounds crazy, but what could you invent or do with that could make money or help another mom, or, you know, I don't know, help somebody who's a business lady who's always working? What service could you provide to her that she would pay for it? And then boom, you have $1 million idea, right? I think we don't think about that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, again, I would hire him too. So that's actually a good idea. So again, it's curiosity, cultivation, and then the last three I kind of lump together because I feel like they all kind of go together, and that's confidence, that's courage, and that's commitment. Because it takes confidence to step out and put your idea out there, because everybody might not be feeling you. That's fine, but you got to find your people that are in your particular area, right? You have to have the courage to step out of that comfort zone and show up in that purpose, right? And then you have to be committed to it, because when it comes to purpose, it doesn't always flow, and it's not always amazing the first time that you do something. But a lot of women also get stuck because they don't want to fail. Yeah. Oh, what if I fail? Right? So y'all know, you know the 409 spray. You ever heard of it? That you can spray to clean up? Why it's called 409? No? You don't want to know why? Go on our website. It's because I believe it's 2 men that created it. They tried the formula how many times? And failed. 408. Which one succeeded? 409, right? So ask yourself, do I have the perseverance? Do I have the grit? Do I have the hustle, right? Do I have the inner fierce foundation to handle failing 408 times? That's a lot. That's traumatic. I'm just going to be honest. The same is true with the guy who created KFC chicken, right? I think his name was Colonel Sanders. He went around with that recipe. Guess how many times it took him in order to actually get picked up? Any idea?
I don't know, but I've heard it. But
It's crazy. 1,009 times. Oh. Hopefully that's factual, but everywhere when I do research, that's what comes up. 1,009 times. So I'm like, whoa, wait. but we get one rejection, right? And we're like, oh my God, my life is over. Or we're like, oh my God, this is a setback because this one thing happened. But these people have the perseverance to go. The same thing that's in them is also in you, right? So again, curiosity, cultivation, confidence, courage, and commitment. If you have those 5 C's, you put them into action, then that will help you unleash that fierce purpose.
I love it. It's so spot on. Like, I don't even know how you came up with it, but it's so spot on. I just like, that's creative. I can't come up with that.
Thank you. Well, I like the C's, probably because I'm an English teacher, so I like the alliteration with the C's.
And it's so powerful, you know, and the passion that you have behind it is so obvious, you know, and just that fierceness inside of you. I mean, you can't, like, that's probably exactly how you came up with your title. I mean, really, you can't hold that down, you know, it just comes out. So I love that. And it's perfect.
Thank you.
So do you have any advice for that mom that might be like, okay, she's got me on fire. Now what do I do? You know?
Yeah, yes. So that's an excellent question. So what I would suggest that you do is that you go back into that very first C that I just mentioned, especially if you're on fire, and do some of that curiosity work, do some exploring of yourself, right? I would recommend that you get that journal and you start answering some of those questions about who are you, whose am I, you know, and why am I here? And if you are stuck or you are lost, then that's when you need to connect to your higher power. You can literally ask, excuse me, right? Why am I here, right? What kind of woman do you need me to become so that I can ignite my destiny, so that I can be a role model for my children and for my family and for my community, right? You know, who do you need me to serve, right? What do you need me to do? It's not about you. I said that like a million times. It's about what you're called to do, right? It's about what's in you that needs to be unleashed, that needs to come out. And if you're struggling with that, then you need to begin the process of literally, right? When you write stuff down, it does something to you, right? So I always say, if it's not written, it's not real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So start writing it down, make it a goal, right? People who write down their goals are 42% more likely to actually achieve them. So you want to get to writing. You want to get to talking to your higher power. I like praying. I don't know what everybody else does. But start asking that question. The main one is, you know, who do I need to become, right? Because you cannot get anything that you pray for, you write down, until you become the kind of woman who can receive it. So you got to be at a capacity to make $5,000 a month. You got to be at the capacity, you know, to be this phenomenal mom. You have to be at a capacity to walk out on the stage and be a speaker and be in your purpose, right? But you have to become that kind of woman. And if you're stuck, start asking those kind of questions, reshape, right? Or I guess readjust what type of prayers or meditations or words or journaling you're doing, so that it's more focused into not necessarily what you need to do, but who do you need to become, so that you can ignite yourself and to move into that fierce destiny.
Can I take you home with me?
Yes. You can.
Yes.
Yes.
Ladies, this is amazing. You guys, this is amazing. Oh, I love it. I want to like high five you and be like, go girl. Yeah. Air fives. So look, I don't even know where to go. Like, I'm just like, yes, go.
Well, I couldn't share about my free gift.
Yes.
Do that. So
share where we can find you first too.
Awesome. So you can find me all over. I love hanging out over on Instagram at Unleash Fierce. You can find me on Facebook as well at Unleash Fierce. And then everybody's favorite is on YouTube these days at Unleash Your Fierce. I just love all of my videos. But if you want to really hang, then you want to join my email list. You want to get my free gift, which is my Own Your Fierce ebook, because you can't ignite anything. You can't step into your purpose if you don't first know who you are and then own who you are, right? So my Own Your Fierce ebook is 5 easy steps, practical steps. I'm all about practical stuff. I don't like fluff. I will tell you, okay, you need to do this journal entry, you need to do this, you need to do that, in order for you to start taking action, right? It's no need to sit on the sidelines waiting, wishing, worrying, waiting for stuff to come. That ain't how life works. So if you go to unleashyourfierce.com/ebook, you will have an opportunity to download that ebook, and you will obviously get access to the Fierce Tribe. And then lastly, if you want to join, I have a Facebook group called the Unleash Your Fierce Squad that has about 400 plus women in it, right, and growing. And then there, I do videos like this all the time. We have Motivation Mondays. We have Winning Wednesdays, because I feel like we don't give ourselves credit of when we win enough. We have Girl Talk Thursdays and then Fierce Fridays. And that's it.
I love it. I'm coming over.
Okay.
And that's such an amazing gift, because I truly think that, you know, the women listening, they're going to be on fire, you know, and so by getting and taking advantage of that gift, then they can really start to digest and process that inner, you know, and the 5 C's, really, they'll be able to touch on that and kind of just figure out who they are and where they want to go with this, you know. And it's so important, like you said, those questions to ask yourself, because I really firmly believe that we have to know those things to be able to really go, okay, now what am I gonna do with this? So I just commend you for your power and your wisdom and your speaking. You just have a true gift.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
I appreciate it. And thank you for having me. I've had fun.
Yes, I have too.
I've enjoyed it. I love your energy. I love it.
Thank you. I'm so glad you were here. All right, ladies. Well, I hope you have been unleashed and you can now go out and do some fierce work internally as well.
Yes.
And we will see you on the next side. Have a great night. Bye.